Hello everyone, this is a presentation for a data annotation application, and specifically it allows you to store patches or to take patches with different sizes from images and store them as you want. And it makes this process easy and fast, and it allows you to control many parameters of this annotation process. So let's explore some of the functionalities of this application. But first of all, we need to load a number of images. You just click on this button here, load, and you select the images you want. Of course, you can select multiple images. Here I have selected just one image, and you can also select multiple images. Just click on Control Alt and select all of the images you have here. And now I have here, you can see that I have here 28 images. Now, this image display that we have here has an adaptive size. For example, this image has a width of almost 1,900 and a height of 1,600, and this exceeds the size of my screen. And when this happens, this image gets automatically resized to fit into this interface. And even when the image is resized, the current position here in this label here, you have the current position of your cursor, and it displays the coordinates, the real coordinates XY on the real image, not on the resized image. And this is useful just to know where you are on the image. Now, of course, you have loaded a lot of images and you can browse through them. You can just click on the next button or on the back button. But there is a problem here. For example, when the size of the image changes, the position of the browsing buttons also change. So you can just use your scrolling, the scrolling wheel of your mouse. So here I'm scrolling down and up without clicking on the next and back button. And of course, when we get to the last image, the next button gets grayed out. And when we are in the first image, the back button gets grayed out. And here you can see the statue of your browsing. For example, here we are in the image 3 out of 28, just to know the order of the image you are currently displaying. So that was for the image viewer. Now, what about the patch storing operations? So to store a patch, for example, let's say that I want to store a patch around or in this position here, in this C region. So you need to double click on the image. So now if I double click, nothing happens because it tells you that you can't store patches until a destination folder is selected. So this is a warning, and there are many other error handling messages. So we need first to select a destination folder. You click on this button, patches destination, and let's select this folder here. Select folder now. If I double click, a patch gets stored. Now if I go to the destination folder, you find the patch that we have just stored, and it has a title of, it's renamed as 1, right? And as you select multiple patches, their name or their title gets automatically updated according to their order. So here we have selected 6 patches, so the naming is based on the number of patches you have selected. And of course, you can add a prefix to these titles. For example, let's say that I want to save patches as C patches. You click on enter. Now, all the next patches would be saved with the prefix C patches. You can see that they are stored with the corresponding prefix. And one thing that's useful is when you select multiple patches, you keep track of the patches you selected so far, just to know what you have done so far on the current image. So this is, I think it's useful because you shouldn't go and select patches in regions that you have already selected. So what else do we have here? Yeah, so here we have the number of patches that we have saved so far. So for example, if you want to save 100 patches, you can just watch this indicator here. For example, if I select further patches, this number here gets incremented by 1. And also the last patch that you have stored gets displayed in here. You can see in this frame here, images of all the patches, the last patch you have stored. Now you can change, of course, the size of the patch. So here I have a size of 32 by 32. I can change this size, and the format is 32 is the width. First, you should type in width, comma, height. So it's explained in here in this label. So let's use, for example, a width of 50 in the height, or a width of 40 in the height of 80. And type in enter. So here you have a pop-up messages just to tell you that the patch size has been updated. Now, if I select a patch again, you have a patch with a different dimension. Now, I think that's all for the process of saving patches. So you can, basically you can change the size of the patch, and you can add in a prefix for your patches, and you keep track of the number of patches you have stored and the last patch here. Now there is, this application handles errors. For example, if the behavior of the user is unexpected, so it tells you that there is an error. So let's see some of the examples. For example, let's say that I select a patch here on the border. So a part of this patch would be out of the frame. So in that case, the patch won't be stored. So it tells you that the patch you selected has a portion that's out of the frame. So try avoiding in-frames border regions when selecting your patches. You can see that the patch here has a part that's out of the frame, so it's not saved. And this is, I think it's important. What else? We have error handling also for this format here. If I add in, for example, a letter here and I type in enter, it tells you that the invalid patch size, type in the patch size as width and height. The width and height must be integers. So these things of error handling just allows them, avoids the application to crash. And there is another thing. For example, let's say that the patch is higher than the image. For example, this image has a size, has a width of 500 almost, and a height of 380. So if I type in a width of 600 by 600, so this patch has a dimension that exceeds that of the image. So in that case, the patch gets updated. It tells you that the patch has been updated, but when you try to select a patch and store it, it doesn't work. It tells you that the patch size is higher or equal than the image size. So the patch size should be smaller than the image size. So I think that I've shown you all of the functionalities here. And if you want the code of this application, it's in the description in my GitHub repository. But that's all, and thank you for watching.